What is up, guys? Let's talk about the new booster pack coming out for Yu-Gi-Oh TCG is Maze of Millenia. We are definitely entering a new age of Yu-Gi-Oh, and there's quite a bit of controversy going on at the moment due to a certain few cards, but I want to discuss the whole set itself, why I think you should be buying this set, and ultimately why I think this is actually a decent set with some pretty interesting cards. And if you look a little bit closer, I think there are some hidden gems in here. So let's not waste any time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Now let's get into the breakdown of Maze of Millenia. First up, I'm going to cover something everyone knows is happening, which is Bonfire. Now, Bonfire, on the face of it, reading this card does not seem that interesting. The reason why this card is so broken is because of a certain new monster coming out in Phantom Knightmare called Populous, which when searched will special. When specialed, we will search a original Sinful Spoil or Sinful Spoil spell or trap. And because Bonfire is so expensive, because the pre-orders are selling out, been a bit of controversy as far as the price of this card, what's happening to the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh. And so I really just want to touch on that topic. We've been seeing players, content creators quitting the physical aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh because of how expensive it's gotten. And I want to say one thing, and it's that supply and demand is a real thing. Of course, we all know. And players who are, continuing to buy cards at these prices just makes me wonder if buying booster boxes, which I believe Konami intends for us to do, should be the way we should be collecting these cards. And so I just find it really interesting that players are still going for single copies of a card that clearly is higher than the amount of a booster box. What do you think about this? I did make a poll on the channel, and whether we should put our faith back in the heart of the card, in the randomness of opening a booster box. Let me know in the comments down below. I definitely prefer that way. It's a lot more fun as well. And I think one of the striking factors and why people are purchasing these cards outright when they're like $70, $80, $90, etc., is because of tournaments. And maybe that's a different story for another day, but if there's tournaments that are really close to the release date of Maze of Millenia, you may not have a chance to get the playset of the card you need, and so you'd rather purchase it to guarantee you have it. Do you think that is the sole reason why? Should players be purchasing cards that are just way more expensive than a box? And is the current pricing model of Yu-Gi-Oh, has it gone too far? I want to move on to something a little bit more fun and a little bit more interesting, and it's the Harmonic Synchro Fusion Earthbound Servant package. We've already had it in the OCG. It didn't make a lot of noise, but I still think it's worth picking up, especially that broken fusion spell, or rather synchro spell. Make a fusion summon or a synchro summon, and then you make the one you didn't do straight after, all in one spell card. Now there's so many broken applications for this. Fusion summoning Grapha, and then in the same play making a hot red abyss. And I definitely think the Earthbound package doesn't really seem to lock you into much, and it just means you have an easier time setting up those Omni Negates. And of course, all of these cards are darks, they're fiends, they tie into the red dragon structure deck. So this is actually off-brand RDA support, and so I would recommend picking this package up. You have another card that's a board wipe, and then you have Geograsha, who is another board wipe. I also forgot to mention that the Earthbound Servant Synchro Climb strategy will also generically surge a field spell with powerful field spells that are limited, and Dragonic Diagram, which is semi-limited. These are cards you can now search. Magical Midfield Breaker, potentially the answer to Rescue Ace, which is still a very powerful strategy, and they all play off of each other, so it's incredibly annoying to deal with. And I can see something happening with the Earthbound cards as well. So I think it's just a matter of time till someone breaks these. Let's quickly discuss Transaction Rollback and the reason why players are afraid of Labyrinth. We had Arius the Butler Servant coming out in the Age of Overlord set, and now we have Transaction Rollback completing the final piece or upgrade for Labyrinth, which means you can now do things like double Bill Welcome Labyrinth special summon, like doing the virus on turn 0, which was possible before, but is even easier to do now. With Arius, with Transaction, you're going to be playing on your opponent's turn, even if they go first. And I think it's a scary concept that we've allowed to happen in the game and get away with things like virus on turn 1. I also wonder what other decks this card has applications with. I remember Tearlaments players mentioning Needlebug Nest, Tearlaments Meta Noise as targets to copy with Transaction Rollback, which actually solves the problem of the Tearlament hits, because you can simply, resolve Meta Noise, send your Tearlament straight from the deck to the graveyard, which you want anyway, and there we go, there is your fusion summon. So in a way, Transaction Rollback may potentially be something splashed into Tearlaments. We'll have to wait and see, but I am definitely keeping an eye on this card, and I think a lot of players are as well. Drastic Draw is a really fun card. It's a draw 3, but you have to banish all monsters you control, at least 2. You're locked out of normal express summoning except Cybers monsters, and all I'm reading is for a Cybers heavy deck, which are known to be, you know, filled with hand traps like Marinsas, for example. And I think for that reason, this card is actually quite deadly. And the setup isn't really that hard in a Link deck where most Link 1s and Link 2s do bring back monsters from the graveyards as extenders. Quite literally, this is a draw 3 in a Cybers deck. And I think that's a little bit crazy to me. Man, I think this card is a gateway for people to try out the Cyber strategy. I know I definitely am. And so I just wanted to bring this card on the spotlight because, again, I think it is being overlooked because of the Bonfire controversy. So let me know what you think about this card in the comments down below. You can draw extenders, you can draw hand traps, you can draw board breakers, you can draw broken turn 1 post side deck cards like Anti-Spell, like Virus, Hornsaurus, and Kite of Terror. I love the design of these two, with Kite of Terror searching the polymerization, fusion summoning the Hornsaurus, and then placing a field spell in the field zone directly. And I do think these cards definitely strike some similarity with Evolzar Lars being a rank 6, this being a level 6, Xeno cards being level 6. A lot of things are lining up here, and I think I might be building dinos again, and these cards might bring me back. I love that Kite Up Terror can actually special summon itself and add the polymerization from your grave to your hand, and so just even more things for why I think Dinos is a solid strategy in 2024. This card is a bit strange, and I saw a few videos seeing and discussing why it's not that great. Now, the main issue with this card is you have to play a quote-unquote brick, which is Rainbow Overlord of Darkwood, the original monster. This is fusion summon. You can wipe out your whole opponent's board, destroy all cards they control. Now, to me, with the fusion quick play spell, okay, this sounds pretty good, and I can see how this can be used as a board wipe. And of course, with the fusion spell, you can add it back to your hand. So you can summon the Grapha, the fusion, and then bring out Colorless on the opponent's turn. And once per turn, quick effect, you can target a face-up card you control, discard one card, which is an effect. Also, your opponent cannot target that face-up card with card effects for the rest of this turn. A bit of a strange effect, but I can definitely see this card targeting itself just so it can stay on the field. I do think it should have had an extra layer of protection, not just from targeting. Darkwood players, if you're watching this, let me know what you think about this card. It seems like the finale for the Darkwood strategy, blowing up the whole opponent's board and going for that OTK. Some wild cards I want to introduce to you guys that is releasing in Maze of Millenia is Ashoka Pillar, which is basically an equipped spell searcher. I don't know if Isolde needed to be hit, so this card could be released. I surely hope not, which in some decks will be a combo style like Durendal. And with equipped spells like Snatch still existing in the game, this is a very funny card to be printed at the same time. Do I think this card will be very popular? Not at all. But I think this is a cool card to pick up. Anything generic that surges something generic is bound to be broken, and I think this card is no exception. Photon Delta Wing is exciting because it means the Galaxy deck has a 1-card star which can search itself from anywhere. Being able to special summon a copy of it from the hand or deck, it's the combo star to go into your links, your Exceed monsters. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the final card the Galaxy deck needed, which was missing as anime support. So this is quite cool that it's come full circle. I wish Utopia would have some more consistent cards as well. That is my personal favorite Exceed deck from Zexal, but we'll have to wait and see. This actually low-key does work for Utopia now that I'm reading it, as you can special a level 4 from the deck. Something I'm really excited to see and actually test out myself. Number 1, Infection Buzz King is the number 1 rank monster. Once per turn during the standby phase, attach a card from your opponent's graveyard to this as material. If this card is Exceed Summon, look at your opponent's extra deck and send 1 card from it to the graveyard. Now, this is a pretty nasty effect, and unfortunately it is only on Exceed Summon, so it's not a once per turn thing. But I definitely think players that use rank 8 strategies, like for example Horus, which is actually getting really popular, I think they're definitely going to use this to its full advantage. You can detach a material to target a card they control, destroy it, and then if you destroy a face-up monster, you can also burn them. As if the rank 8 toolbox didn't need more crazy cards, we have another one, and I like the fact that it is a number monster, it being number 1, because it may just be one of the best ones we've seen in a long time. Will it actually polarize the meta like Ibli did, and Cashter Unicorn and Diablosis? Imagine you're playing against Sun Avalon post bandlist, Dryas is limited, and you sent it to the graveyard. That's pretty broken. Or you played against a player who has Zeus in their extra deck, a Typhon in their extra deck, and you've taken out the 1 out they had. Playing against Fire Kings, this card is actually pretty decent as well. For example, with Ponix adding back to the hand, this can steal it. I feel like that's a pretty good one. I love this card, and I cannot wait to pick one up myself. Let's quickly go over the reprints in Maze of Millenia. Triple Tactics Thrust has made his appearance. A card that has been extremely expensive with the secret rare, with the ultimate rare, simply because of how generic it is and how monsters, hand traps especially, are running rampant in the game. And we've seen this right now where even Manadian players have abandoned the board breaker strategy and gone into the 12 hand trap strategy. And what I like about this card is it removes another competitive barrier that players had in the past. Rescues Hydrant and Turbulence were also reprinted as a super rare. This just means the deck is extremely accessible now, as if it wasn't before already. Very interesting set of reprints, I must say. but definitely ones that I think hold more value than the Ultrageist and Supreme King ones. And then finally, Ultimate Flame Swordsman, the iconic Flame Swordsman monster, has had its retrade and it's actually pretty powerful. It's a OTK option, allowing you to attack for more than 10,000 easily. I wonder if Infernoble will use this package to start OTKing a lot more. Maybe this is why Isolde was banned. We'll have to wait and see. If you're a Joey fan like me, this is exactly what we wanted to see. Flame Swordsman looking really cool. But I want to know in the comments, guys, do you think this was cooler than the Gate Guardian retrade? Let me know in the comments. And there we go, guys. That was a quick discussion on Maze of Millenia, some of the meta impacts, what cards are spiking in price, what you should have your eye on if not already, and also some cool things to remember about this pack. Let me know if you're going to be picking up this as a booster box or if you're going to go for the pre-order prices for Bonfire. The card is clearly in demand because of the follow-up fire support cards like Populous. This year is clearly off to an insane start. Very controversial as well, of course, with the pricing of certain meta cards at the moment. Players quitting physical Yu-Gi-Oh, which I didn't think would happen. And so there we go, guys. A pretty interesting wrap up for Maze of Millenia. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments down below. What would you like to see next? And I'll catch you guys in the next one.